This month we're going to type Meryl Streep, or how Jonah Hill calls her, the GOAT. Holly has been interested in Meryl Streep for quite some time, and I think it's fair to say that we're both big fans. So we wanted to take a closer look at her, get to know her, and figure out her type. The two of us have been typing for several years, and in order to get a bit more practice, we started to typing some additional celebrities on our own, and we wanted to share our experience as people who learn typing with the community, and that's why we're doing these mini classes. So the typings that we present here are ours, but the types have been confirmed by Shan and Dave, so if you're inclined to do so, you could call these types official.
So in order to keep this video relatively short, we're not going to go through every single coin of Meryl's type. We're just going to cover the ones that we particularly struggled with, but also ones that might be interesting. I think our initial bias was that she was DE and some kind of blaster. She kind of reminded me a little bit of Martha Stewart in some videos and some pictures. So that's why I had this bias that she was SI and a blaster.
Yeah, maybe some kind of STJ. We didn't really know.
Yeah.
As we know by now, a lot of actors actually play like a version of themselves or a version of their own type on film. But we didn't think that would be the case for Meryl, because she just plays a wide range of all kinds of different roles. Like her role in The Devil Wears Prada, she seems very DI, and she also seems to play clearly a number one.
Yeah.
But if you look at a different movie like Julie and Julia, she seems very DE, like some kind of EJ, possibly, and not a number one. So we really couldn't use her filmography to get a first bias.
So this was where we first learned the importance of gathering a wide range of clips to show kind of the spectrum of a person. So to get them in all different states, all different ages as well, if possible. And this is where you're kind of looking for clips where the person is not done up, not looking professional, not looking sort of stiff and awkward, because they're not going to be honest. And a lot of those clips are quite often scripted. So the person has been told what to say ahead of time, or they've recorded these interviews or videos multiple times, so they're just basically repeating the same thing over and over again. So you're not going to catch them in a savior or demon state. So we try to avoid those kinds of clips.
Yeah, because the goal in the end is to really get to know the person, who the person actually is, what they're actually afraid of, what they've learned throughout their life. And so we need them in a calm and honest state.
Yeah, so speaking of which, we're going to show a clip of Meryl in a calm and honest state, and then we're also going to compare that with a clip of Meryl where she's in one of the very sort of done up straight states that you don't want to use.
Could you talk a little about how you prepared to be Suzanne?
I didn't do very much homework for it, I'm afraid. I did take one illegal substance that I'd never taken before. I thought that was an important part of the research. And I followed Carrie Fisher around for a while.
So, as you saw in this clip, Meryl looks like a completely normal person. She doesn't look like a made-up Hollywood star at all. But let's take a look at this other clip.
Well, when my youngest saw it, and she's 22 when she saw it, she saw a very, very early cut. She is not a real fan of, she doesn't agitate for me to take her to the Broadway or to the musicals much. But she's sort of a serious girl, and she sat forward and she watched the whole thing. She didn't laugh a lot, even at the funny parts. And so I was afraid at the end, I didn't know what her reaction was, because she's sort of unreadable.
So in comparison, in that clip, you see that she looks different, like she's properly made up with all the makeup and hair, etc. And also her state is different. She carries herself different. She is far more serious. She sits up straight. She is more guarded. So be careful about these kinds of clips, because the chances is great that you won't see the real Meryl Streep.
Yeah. So one thing that is always good to do when you're searching for clips is to search for the person's name followed by rant. And this is a really good way to kind of get an idea of what the person is willing to fight on or fight for. So here we've got a clip of Meryl where we search for Meryl Streep rant, and this is what we got.
Actors' only job is to enter the lives of people who are different from us and let you feel what that feels like. And there were many, many, many powerful performances this year that did exactly that. Breathtaking, compassionate work. But there was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life.
So in this clip, Meryl is clearly in a demon state. Now, what is she doing? She is calling out one specific person, and she's calling out the person who made fun of a disabled reporter, someone who was sort of lower on the totem pole in terms of social hierarchy. Maybe I shouldn't say social hierarchy, but, you know, just lower in terms of power. And this one person that she's calling out was Trump, and this is what she was kind of narrowed in on. And this is quite obviously decider behavior.
She talks about disrespect.
Yes. Yeah, quite clearly pointing out that disrespect invites disrespect. So if someone in a position of power is disrespectful to other people, then it kind of gives others permission to follow and do the same thing.
This clip was our first real hint, thinking that she might possibly be a decider, like getting stuck on like one person that she vilifies, talking about disrespect. But we couldn't really clearly see if this is DE or maybe DI, because she was in a demon state. But throughout kind of the whole run, which is like 5 minutes in total, she calls out Trump and she calls out lots and lots of other persons, literally pointing to all kinds of different actors from different countries throughout the room. And we're thinking, could this be DE? We didn't know at that point.
But when she was calling out these people, you'd have to watch the whole clip to see it. She's doing it in a very weird way, and you can see that other people in the audience are like, why are you talking about me?
Yeah, they get really uncomfortable, especially the IPs.
Yes.
So we were trying to figure out, is she more DI or DE? Is she looking at other people first, trying to get permission, or is she asking herself first and knowing her own opinion, also maybe going without issues against the tribe's opinion? Let's watch a clip and see.
Sometimes I think that when people ask about the accent, it's, first off, it's sort of lazy journalism. Dare I say it? It's like the easiest thing to ask about because it's like the thing on the surface. And yet, you know, for people looking at my work, they, you know, it's a fact that I've chosen to play women who come from different countries than I do. And I've chosen to not have them speak as if they were brought up in New Jersey, like I am. And that's just a choice because I've felt like them, so why can't I be like them? I have felt what they felt. And ideally what I'm doing in my work is making you feel what these Danish, Polish, Jewish women feel. And it's an act of, you know, I'm a conduit for that empathy.
First of all, notice that in this clip, she's in the savior state. Like, she's calm, she's casual. And yeah, how does she react? She gets asked like a very typical question for her. It's like, what about these accents you do in these movies? And well, she doesn't really bite. She doesn't care about the tribe's opinion. The tribe thinks this is an interesting, important question. But she asks herself and she thinks, no, not really. I say this is lazy journalism, because you're just talking about very observable things on the surface. And I don't care about that so much. This is not what's important to me here.
Yeah, that's also a hint for another coin there as well. So where she is saying, I have felt what they felt, so therefore I want to make you feel what they felt. This is kind of what FI is doing. It's taking its internal emotions and projecting them outwards onto other people. So you have to have the personal feelings first, and then you share those or express those with others. And that's kind of how FI is working. And so this is a good example of FI. Just also on that note, usually when someone is referring to themselves as being empathetic or showing empathy, or in her case she was saying that she's a conduit for empathy, that is usually FI talk. Anecdotally, FE doesn't usually talk about empathy in the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't, although you would expect that FE does.
Yeah.
So this is like one of the questions that we were wrestling with while typing her. Like, how is this not FE, this talk about empathy and feeling, and I feel and you feel? It sounds like FE on the surface, but why is it not? What Meryl is not doing here is looking outwards and tracking what the tribe feels. And she's not putting the tribe's emotions on a spectrum. She's starting with her own feelings, her own emotions, and she wants to present that as authentically as she can, in order then to make others feel the same way through watching her performance.
Yeah.
She doesn't start with others, and she doesn't talk about like a proper exchange in feelings or as a kind of feeling connection between her and the audience. There's not a transfer, not an exchange in a way.
Yeah.
Not really. It's about like showing her experience.
Okay, so in this next clip, we're going to see Meryl again in a demon state, as we saw with the Trump clip. So we're going to take a look at this and talk about what we are seeing here.
What do I want from a director? Clarity and certainty. Even when they don't know what they are not sure what they want, just to convey that, to convey that they're not certain what it is that they want, but to convey that clearly. It's so important to feel that you can rest what you do as an actor, which is unravel, that it's going to all be in a safe kind of basket.
All right. I love this clip. It was a great find. There's so much important stuff in this clip. So first of all, if you would just look at her words or at a transcript of this video, you might think, oh, she must be ST, because what does she want? She wants clarity and certainty. But there are especially two things you really need to look out for. First of all, her state.
Yeah.
So you have this amazing actress, like one of the best in the world, but what does she look like in the moment where she says clarity and certainty? She looks like a child. I want clarity and certainty. Good job, Meryl. And so she's clearly in a demon state when she says that. And then the other thing is, who is responsible for clarity and certainty? It's not her. Like, she wants that someone else takes care of this. And what is her job? It's to unravel. So it's her job to do the chaos, to do the NF, and then to be caught in someone else's basket or some NF thing. I don't fully understand. But it's not her job to do the ST, to have clarity. It's her job to just be herself and act and unravel. And someone else takes care of the rest.
Also, this is a very good note for Savior Specialize as well.
Right. Like, she's not fully responsible for everything. She does her specialist job, and someone else packages up as a whole.
Yep. On the social hierarchy, Meryl is a number 4. So the reason for this is that she is, as we said before, she is a specialist. So she's playing a specialist role, but she's also so lovable. Everybody loves Meryl. Everybody who knows Meryl likes her. I mean, she, as Felix said at the start, she's known as the GOAT.
Yeah.
So, she's is
highly admired by everybody in the industry.
Yeah. And one of the other things is that she's also really good at being able to play so many different characters really well. So The Devil Wears Prada, she played a number 1, and she played the number 1 really well. It wasn't just like a parody of a number one. It was actually what the number ones are like.
Yeah, it's like she...
A lot of the number ones, okay, maybe not all of them, but a lot of the number ones are like that. And she played that so well.
Yeah, and portraying this number one with respect.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so she's kind of like a social chameleon in a way, and this is often what the number fours are doing. They're kind of able to blend in and just to be friends and get along with everyone.
As we said in the beginning, we're not gonna prove every coin here for the sake of time, but Meryl's full type is double feminine, F-I-N-E, consume, play, sleep, blast, and she's a number 4. Like, we've shown clips for FI, we've shown clips that indicate that she's NF, she's not in fact ST, no matter how much she says she loves clarity. And yeah, she's just a lovable, kind number 4 and an amazing specialist. She's the best at what she does. But yeah, the main point is in typing that you really get to know the person. Who are they really? What's important to them? What are they afraid of?
Yep.
And yeah, start with that. And you really need to start with good clips where you find this person in a comfortable state, where they're not made up, where they're not guarded. So they actually are comfortable and show themselves. So start with good clips and then take your time and carefully go coin by coin and actually prove every coin. And that's how you type.
I call her the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
No.
Wait a minute. I heard a story about this. He's been calling you the GOAT.
Yeah.
But you didn't know that was a
cute.
compliment?
No, I thought, why is he calling me a goat? And I sort of thought, well, you kind of look like a goat, you know?
Not true.
But no, I don't know. I didn't know what that meant, you know?
So what happened? You just were like, oh, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT.
Yeah, no, just we're doing interviews, and obviously everyone in the world respects Meryl more than anything in the world, and myself included. And then Jen filled her, and Meryl was saying, like, oh, I think he keeps calling me a goat. And then Jen Lawrence was like, no, it stands for greatest of all time. It's a massive compliment and not a grotesque diss that I would never say anywhere.
It says a lot about your grace that you didn't say, like, hey, stop calling me a farm animal.
No, I just thought it was like, I don't know, a cute little thing.
Yeah.
Or
She's
maybe
the coolest,
that I
dude.
chew the scenery or something.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what he meant.
Not true. But she's, she's the best.